Sager Brown in Baldwin, Louisiana is one of the United Methodist Committee on Relief, or UMCOR's, supply depots. In the course of a year, 4 million supplies will be distributed to people in need when the worst happens. Think about the response when Harvey hit Houston in 2017. When the water did recede, it was the many flood buckets that UMCOR provided that helped homeowners during the cleanup.
We are the hub of the disaster relief program. We provide disaster kits, relief supply kits, in cases of emergency, whether that be a natural disaster or if it is a man-made disaster or a socio-economical disaster.
Now, you're gonna have to add a tube of toothpaste in the kits, which is not on here.
This week, a team from Chapelwood is lending a hand alongside members of Concord Methodist from Knoxville, Tennessee. There are a variety of tasks that need to be done, including verifying the hygiene kits, which are part of the response to any disaster.
Volunteers come from all over the country. They'll spend a whole week here, then they come into the warehouse and they make the kits.
Carl Sandlin and Dave Luther are retired engineers, which is handy when there's carpentry to be done. An old sign to welcome visitors to the 25-acre site needed to be updated, which proved to be a challenge. The wood rails that will hold the new lattice had to be cut and sanded in an arc-like fashion for aesthetics. Fortunately, the tools at Sager Brown are plentiful, with all kinds of power saws and even a rotary sander to make a nice finish. Once constructed, the rails are mounted on the brick frame with the lattice fitted between the two.
Flush over here.
Later, the Painter Sisters from Concord added a coat of paint, and the lattice sign now stands proudly at the edge of the entrance. Here's a picture of an old door housing a water heater behind one of the dormitories. Carl and Dave are called on to hang what was supposed to be a custom door to replace it. But it turns out the custom door had to be customized since it was too big to fit. No worries, as this dynamic duo spent the afternoon reducing the size of the door and then fitting it to the new jamb. Now here's a before and after picture. Quite impressive.
You're okay. That's fine.
Who would have thought February would be harvest time for turnips? Several members of the two teams spent an afternoon in the garden pulling the fresh vegetable, which was distributed the following week to seniors who receive fresh groceries each month. Working in the community is another of Sager Brown's missions. In this case, an elderly gentleman needed an improvement to his wheelchair ramp so he could ride the chair through the door. Through weather and time, his trailer home needed some extra care. So Carl and Dave even worked underneath to level the landing. Just another day's work at Sager Brown. This is the first year volunteers have been welcomed back to Sager Brown, as COVID curtailed many mission trips. And while the tasks are very important to further the relief mission, relationships are vital to the success of the week.
These have been donated, and we verify to make sure they all have what they need.
The mission trip is great for active seniors as there's so much to do and a variety of projects for all ages and experience. Who knew more than 4,000 towels would be found in a corner of the depot that had been overlooked during COVID? Washed, bleached, and now folded, they're ready for use in the next disaster.
Our volunteers are the backbone of everything that we do.
Do all the good you can.